Welcome and thank you once again for joining us on the program Transforming Lives One at a Time. We're coming to you from scenic Tobago in the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, on the program today, we will be discussing Down syndrome, clearing up myths and, of course, misconceptions about it, and providing much needed information on how it affects individuals. Of course, World Down Syndrome Day is commemorated annually on March 21st, which is today, while October is Down Syndrome Month. My guest today has been working tirelessly in the field for a number of years. Leeanna Alexander is a dedicated children ministries leader, special education lecturer at USC, author, special educator, and advocate for children with exceptional, diverse, and special education needs. She holds a bachelor in early childhood care and education and a master's in inclusive and special education with a concentration in special education from the University of the West Indies. She's currently pursuing a doctorate in education at Walden University. She's an honorary board member and representative for the Down Syndrome Family Network here in Tobago. Leeanna, welcome to Transforming Lives One at a Time. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you for having me.
Yes, my dear. Well, Leeanna, we are here today to provide a better understanding as to what is Down syndrome and how it generally affects persons. In laying a proper foundation, let's firstly understand what is Down syndrome. What does it mean when we say a child has Down syndrome?
Okay, so now Down syndrome is a genetic condition. So it means that the baby is born with it. It's something that you are born with. Now I just want to do a little demonstration so that the audience can better understand Down syndrome. Now sometimes you would hear trisomy 21, which is the medical name for Down syndrome. And typically a human would have 46 chromosomes, right, which would be 23 pairs. Now the baby with Down syndrome, so it's like this. So we have these are going to represent chromosomes. And you have one all the way till you get to 23. But on the 21st pair, when you get to the 21st pair, you have an extra chromosome coming there. So you have 3. Hence, trisomy 21. So it's on the 21st pair, and you have the pair and an extra one, giving that baby 47 chromosomes. So the 21st of March, which is the 3rd month, and the 21st day would signify World Down Syndrome Day because of the condition known as Down syndrome, and it means that every cell would have that extra copy of that chromosome. So the three copies would be there in every cell. A baby born with Down syndrome would have there are certain delays that we may have. This genetic variation often would result in developmental delays.
Okay.
And babies born with Down syndrome or individuals with Down syndrome would have what we would call intellectual disability. Right. So it's an intellectual disability. There's no cure, but there's support, and persons can have, generally speaking, a good life with the support. So you must have support. You must have I would say opportunities, right? Opportunities to go to school, opportunities to be a part of society, opportunities to be included in society. Right? Yeah. Basically.
So what are some of the ways Down syndrome affects a child's general behavioral pattern?
Okay, so I would like to use the word children or individual or persons with Down
Okay.
syndrome, because we have adults, we have teens, we
Right.
have children born with Down syndrome. So as again, I would say development. So there would be developmental delays, delays in milestones. Sometimes persons would think that an individual with Down syndrome would have like a cognitive ceiling. So there's only so much you can do, or there's nothing much you can do.
Right.
But obviously that is not true. Persons with Down syndrome, they can do things, they can learn.
Okay.
They can learn life skills, they can be independent, they can have relationships, they can have friends, and they can reach their full potential once they are given the support
Okay.
and the opportunity to do so.
Right. Well, in my research on the topic today, I learned that certain health complications can arise with persons who have been diagnosed with Down syndrome. I want us to talk about some of those complications that can present in someone with Down syndrome, because as you indicated, you would have children, you would have teens, you will have adults. So let's talk about some of those health complications generally.
Okay, so now generally speaking, child, adult, individual with Down syndrome, you can see the physical characteristics.
Okay.
So it is something that you can see. So if a baby is born upon birth or even before, because there are many scans and tests that you can do now, so you
Yes.
can know if your baby will have Down syndrome.
Okay.
Right? And so you would see features, physical features. The face is a bit flattened.
Right.
The nose would be a bit small. Eyes would be slanted. Ears would be small. You would also have like muscle tone a bit floppy, hence the delayed development.
Yes.
Now, because I work with students with Down syndrome and I see them every day, you would have, so in your hand palms, you would have like these lines.
Okay.
Some students or some children with Down syndrome, they would have a single palmar line. So it's just that one line. And I often say, don't go looking at the people's children hand to see if there's one
Yes.
line, because everybody would look. But you have that one line stuck in the middle.
You mean that's how we would have all of these?
Yeah, like the M for money or the N for
Yes,
none.
yes.
They have that one line. Yes, so you see it, right?
Okay.
You would also have their joints very, we would say kind of stocky. They are stocky built.
Okay.
And sometimes they would have issue or challenges with breathing and stuff. Hence, we would go now into the health aspect.
Yes.
So individuals normally would have, in some instance, congenital heart issues.
Okay.
Right? So it's not uncommon to have children in my classroom or in other classrooms with Down syndrome where they would have had that heart surgery. Also visually.
Yes.
Vision is an issue. So you would normally see them with these thick glasses.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Also, thyroid function is also an issue. So you would see that some of them may be a bit overweight. Most of them have challenges sleeping at night.
Wow.
Right? Because of the thyroid function. Also with their diet, there are certain things that they like to eat. Now, some of them, they don't have any issues. But for some, with the thyroid function issue,
Yes.
they would have challenges with eating, maybe swallowing hard food. So they like, some of them like maybe softer foods.
Right.
Or things like that that is easy to swallow, because some
Right.
of them would have these challenges. As well, hearing is also an issue. As they get older, they would have some challenges with their hearing. So it's the sight, the hearing, but more so the thyroid function and the heart issues or heart conditions.
Right. What are some of the early intervention services that have been proven to improve the quality of life for someone with Down syndrome? And what is generally the life expectancy?
So I'm happy that you asked that. life expectancy now, with all the improvements in medicine and technology and other things,
Yes.
it's between 55 to 65 years.
Okay.
And we actually have persons in Tobago who are in their 50s.
Really?
Living with Down syndrome.
Wow.
Right? And we have a lot of babies being born. We have a lot of babies being born now. But life expectancy, they can live and, care, support is something that would help them to have a better life and a better quality of life.
Of course, have healthy relationships.
Healthy relationships. So
have a job.
And a job, because they can work.
Yes.
As it relates to the early intervention, so early intervention would normally be between the ages of birth to 2.5 to 3 years, just before that early childhood age. Right now, normally in Trinidad and Tobago, you may have to be on a waiting list before you could get some of these interventions, but we would have interventions such as speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, and you would also have to have your regular screeners for the hearing, the vision, and for those who may have thyroid issue. So these are some of the things that can be done. Early intervention as well can mean socializing, social skills. So you wouldn't keep the baby and not send the baby to the daycare, or not have play sessions or a toddler program. You would try to have them involved, because now with the different, I would say, we do not have laws, but there are simple policies, educational acts and stuff, where children with intellectual disabilities, which is like Down syndrome and others, can be included in the early childhood centers. So you would not keep them home. They can go to school. Socializing is very important, very, very important for them. And they can learn and make friends and stuff like that.
Right, because it brought me to thinking, sometimes you have a child and this is the situation, and you want to tend to keep that child away or keep that child home. You don't want anybody to know. You don't want, so actually you will be doing a disservice to that child, because there are now opportunities that child can go and, as you rightfully said, be able to socialize from an early age.
And the thing is, it's also a disadvantage to the family or to the parents, because when that child gets big, remember, as a baby, you would be lifting them, carrying them, but as they get big, imagine myself or you as a big adult, and there's only so much we can do. And the mommies or the daddies would not be around right when they're maybe 50 or 60. So it's good now with education and sensitization and awareness that persons can know a bit more. Right? Because remember, the human rights aspect, they are individuals, they are humans, and they can be included, once that is pushed.
But do we have persons, do we still have that environment that we are excluding persons with Down syndrome in 2026, with all the information, with all the educational drives that I am certain that you would have been having? Is it that persons are still...
So, not meaning to be biased, there would have been some improvement. But there are still parents that would have reached out to me, and their child is not in a school, because they would have been told by the early childhood center, we are not trained to deal with that. We do not have the support. We do not have a teacher's aid, because there would be the student who would come in, because remember, so let me just go back a bit. A child with Down syndrome, because of the delays, we would say developmental delays and milestones. Intellectual disability, normally you would be at least 3 or 4 or 5 grade levels behind. So your chronological age, you may be 5 years old, but your developmental level or capabilities may be like a 2-year-old.
Understood.
So you are not able to go into the typical general education classroom. So you would have to maybe stay in the early childhood setting a bit longer.
Right.
But you would have early childhood centers that when the child gets to be 5 or 6, they would say to you, we cannot have them anymore. So there would have been instances like that. And normally parents would reach out to network to find out, what can I do?
Yes.
So sometimes we would be the advocates to go in, have a chat with the teacher, let them know, what, this student will need an additional year.
Right.
To acquire the skills, the competencies, the readiness skills to be able to go on. Sometimes they do not go on, so they are like private schools or homeschool programs, which we call them, that would accommodate these students so that they can have the opportunity to be educated.
Yes, of course, because every child has that right. To an education, just as they have that right to have food, shelter, and clothing. Education is just as important. Yes. So, is it that you have collaboration with the various entities? And of course, we're going to talk about that a little later on. But in the interim situations like these, who do you reach out to for additional help and support?
Well, I normally would direct parents to student support services if it is that they are looking for an early childhood center and there's none that is willing to accept the student. Also, the Down Syndrome Family Network.
Right.
That's the organization with which I am affiliated with. There are numerous services. So we would have private schools.
Okay.
We would have, because yes, we have the government centers and the government assisted centers, but we also have the private school that would be able to have an aide, a student aide, a teacher's aide, or a nurse. Yes, it is at a cost, and then sometimes these parents are not really working because they have to be able to be the caregiver as well for these students, because there are some that it's a lot happening.
Yes.
It's a lot. So yes, there is, but there could be a lot more. Right? We have Happy Haven.
Yes.
And obviously there's a waiting list. We have Tobago School for the Deaf, and they would have persons with autism, intellectual disability, learning disability, and all the other disabilities, because there are different classrooms that would accommodate these students.
Of course.
Again, there's a waiting list.
Wow.
So you would have babies being born. They would go to the daycare and they may stay there for extended period until an opportunity comes for them to go to school.
Understood.
Yeah. Same thing. It's the same in Trinidad, right? But it's better since after COVID with the homeschooling and other things and programs coming in. It's a little better.
Okay, but of course there's always room for improvement. All right. Yes. Well, at this time we're going to take our first short break and we'll be right back. We are speaking about Down syndrome. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus, a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Do you need electrical and plumbing supplies from construction to finish? Then check out Voodoo's Enterprises Limited, Milford Road, Canaan, Tobago. Get LED bulbs and fixtures, septic tanks, water pumps, laminate flooring, press cut power tools, and so much more. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. Call 280-2050 or 660-4970. Voodoo's Enterprises Limited.
Howling Graphic Enterprise, Store Bay Local Road, Crown Point, Tobago.
for a variety of quality printing products, including banners, posters, jerseys, flyers, and more. Graduation packages, get customized grad bags, mugs, newspapers, and the list goes on. PowerLink Graphic Enterprise, open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. Call 269-6996. We create ideas that inspire. Hi, I am Deanne, host of Transforming Lives One at a Time, and I would like to introduce you to our brand new segment, Good Vibes, Good News. And this is where you have the opportunity to highlight your good news. You can send your 90 seconds video to our WhatsApp number 868-701-2099. That's 868-701-2099. Let's hear some of the good news that we never hear about. Good vibes, good news. Inspiring hope. Celebrating wins. Truly grateful.
Welcome back to Transforming Lives One at a Time. Today we are speaking about Down syndrome. My guest, Leeanna Alexander. Ms. Alexander will tell us about some of the myths and misconceptions persons would usually have as it relates to Down syndrome.
Okay, so I would love to clear this up because we have at least 21 myths or
Really?
more. Yes, and we also have the facts. So today we're going to so it's going to be a bit of both because I will tell you some of the things that people think but what really happens.
Okay.
So one of the first things is that persons would say that Down syndrome is something that you inherit.
Okay.
Right? So if you have it in your family, you could be born with it. In some instance, research would have shown that, but also a significant percentage of individuals born with Down syndrome, there's no trace or no evidence of that being in the family before.
Okay.
Right? So it's not always hereditary. It's not always, all right? Other areas would be children or persons with Down syndrome would normally be maybe jolly, happy, or they seem that way at times. But having interact with them for years, know about them, work with them, just like you and I would have feelings, being happy, sad, hurt, they go through the same emotions. They feel sad. They feel embarrassed especially. Right? So we have to be very careful. And not only individuals with Down syndrome, but other disabilities.
Yes.
They have feelings that are valid. You know, the way we speak to them. So if it is that I'm talking to you about somebody with Down syndrome and they're right there and I'm telling you stuff like,
yes,
they don't even know whatever, you know, they don't even know their name. They hear it and they feel hurt.
Okay.
So we have to be very, very mindful as to how we treat them. So the life expectancy, persons would think that they die young or they do not have a long life expectancy. They do, with all the research and all the different medicine and interventions and stuff, they can live 55 to 65 years. All right? Additionally, we often would have persons with Down syndrome and we would say that as adults, they are very childish, they mature. They go through puberty, they go through everything like you and I would. They have feelings.
Yes.
Yes, they may have a little more feelings, but they have relationships, they can date. For the conference that we would have had, our main speaker, Matthew Schwab, he is getting married, right? And so all these things we can find out about them.
Yes.
They can have meaningful relationships.
Wow.
Right? They can also be educated. So oftentimes we would say they can't learn. Or we would look at them and think, maybe they can just color, or they can just sit there and listen.
Right.
But I would have, over the years, been an early childhood educator for many years, and that's where I first started seeing persons with intellectual disability. And they can learn, but they would need a little more time.
Yes.
So yes, they come in and they do not know the letters in the alphabet, but eventually, maybe after 5 years, 6 years, they can sequence the letters in their name. They can tell you the letters in their name. They can count. I have a student, my student Gabby. Gabby is at infant 2 level. Right, so she's able to do infant 2 work. She has textbook just like any of the other schools.
Okay.
She does her work, her homework. She's on number 17 right now, right? Spelling and everything, yes, we have to be able to repetition. So you have to do the same thing over and over again. You have to go forward and then go back a bit, right?
Right.
And they also learn, we would say they mimic. So whatever you do, they look at you and they pattern your behavior.
Okay.
So they are very good at that.
Yes.
Very good at being friendly, very good at cleaning up after themselves, everything. And you know, one of these things I want to say, students or children with Down syndrome. So if I'm at school, say you come to school sometime and sometime a student get there a little before you. They are not going to go outside and play. They are not going to look for things to make, as we would say, mischief or whatever.
Yes, yes.
They would take their bags, put it where it's supposed to be, put their lunch kit where it's supposed to be. Go and take whatever they know they're supposed to play with, whether it's a book or puzzle, and they would sit and wait until, not that they are unsupervised, but you may be in the washroom when a child comes in or something like that. So I must say that they are very well disciplined.
And they are into a routine. They follow routine well.
Routine. Even students with autism as well.
Yes,
but you have to be a little more alert. But a student with Down syndrome, you do not have to worry. And parents could testify to that as well. So sometimes we would say that they cannot work. And this is something I really want to touch on. In the same way they can go to school. And one of the things that we would realize when you work with individuals with different abilities, and even for us, one of the main things that we would learn is our name, wherever you go.
Yes.
In the airport, wherever they would ask you, what is your name? Sign your name. Anything you're doing, it is your name.
Correct.
It's the same thing with them. And once they know their name, because they go for their ID cards, I have 3 students that recently got their ID cards. Right, they don't look like 15.
Yes.
Right, but they have their ID cards. So it means that they could work. It means that they are valued citizen in our country, but most persons would not hire them.
Yes.
So we would want persons to say, hey, because if you have a student with Down syndrome, they are on time. They are on time every day. They are not late. They are on time. They don't have time to sit and chat or be on their phones and stuff.
Right.
Whatever you have for them to do, they are going to do that. So that is something I want to see in Tobago.
Yes.
Organizations, business places, even OJT, having at least one person with a disability, with Down syndrome in our workplaces. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So we have had many misconceptions.
Many, and one I forgot that is really important. Babies with Down syndrome, we often hear that it's from mothers, older mothers.
Yes.
35, 36 and up. That is a myth.
It is.
Because all the students that I have currently have worked with most of those mummies, first babies, 18, 19, 20, all the way to 30.
Really?
Most of them. And if even at the conference, they would come out with these babies, with their children. So it's not older mothers. Yes, there is some truth to it, but younger mothers, they are having babies with Down syndrome now.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. All right, well, let us have an overview on the Down Syndrome Family Network of which you are part. Let's talk about the goal, the mission, the vision, and of course the work that you do here in Tobago.
Okay. So firstly, persons normally ask me, how did you get involved? You know, do you have a child with Down syndrome? Do you have someone in your family? So I got involved, I would say, maybe because of my passion for helping persons.
Okay.
Wanting to make a difference in the lives of my students. And teaching is something I would say that God called me to do. And when I got into that field, I saw that there were many persons with different abilities. And I wondered, how can I help them?
Yeah.
So when the Down Syndrome Family Network came to Tobago, I think it was 2011. At that time, I was at the Tobago School for the Deaf, just getting into special ed because I was in early childhood.
Yes.
Coming back into Tobago, I was placed there. And there am I not knowing anything much about special ed. Because back then, I mean, it was relatively new.
True.
And the students were invited to Magdalena, and I would have been one of the few teachers that wanted to go along. Because I mean, to take students with disabilities out.
Yes, that's an extra challenge.
That's excitement. We call it excitement. So
excitement.
I love the excitement, so we would have gone along, and it was good. And there I met Mr. Glenn Niles. Right, so he is the founder and chairman of the Down Syndrome Family Network, and he has a son, Tyrese. Tyrese has Down syndrome. Tyrese now works with Detour. He's a model. He works. I think he would have been with TT Post for a number of years, right? So he works.
Right.
And when I spoke with him, he said to me, we need persons in Tobago to volunteer and to, you know, push inclusion because they are very, I would say, very known in Trinidad. Hence, I got into partnering with them as a volunteer. So we are volunteers.
Okay.
Right? I became a board member after maybe a year or 2 or 3. I can't even recall. And then we started, the face of inclusion would have changed in Tobago. Right, it would have evolved over the years. So the Down Syndrome Family Network presence would have been here in Tobago for the past 14 years.
Where are they based?
So they're based in Trinidad.
Okay.
They're based in Trinidad, and but in Tobago, I'm the representative.
Okay.
And we have at least 10 volunteers, mostly parents.
Of course.
And some teachers. And our volunteers work very hard because the network, as an organization, it's a non-profit organization, right? So whatever we do it for the people, for the families, and for Tobago. Now, one of the things I wanted to highlight is that the Down Syndrome Family Network, we want to be known as the national advocate for the value, acceptance, and inclusion of individuals with Down syndrome. So whatever we do would be to empower, would be to educate, would be to sensitize, to bring awareness, right? For families, for parents, and for individuals with Down syndrome. And also other disabilities, because we always put in that aspect, because we have persons with autism coming to our conference, we have persons with cerebral palsy, learning disabilities. All these persons would come and get the information that we have available for the wider public.
Yes.
Right? Also, we provide a network. So hence the word Down Syndrome Family Network. in which parents or caregivers of persons with Down syndrome, they have access to resources.
Okay.
Right? So we would have our handouts. We would have workshops. So we have 4 workshops per year. 4 in Trinidad, 4 in Tobago. We are normally at the library. And our final workshop where we have a Christmas luncheon and final workshop, we have all the individuals with Down syndrome and their parents. So they come and they have a nice Christmas luncheon every year.
Right.
And so the workshops, we have strategies, right, for helping your child. We have speech therapists coming in, behavioral therapists, we would have counselors, special educators. So we have different paraprofessionals coming in to share their knowledge. Now, this is at no cost to the people of Tobago.
Right.
And even Trinidad, but yes, there is a cost.
Of course, always.
Right? So what we would normally do, we would have sponsors, or we would have, when we sell the socks.
Yes.
Right? Our Rock Your Socks, we would have some, this would bring in some revenue. Our, I would say sponsors, but we do not have much sponsors in Tobago.
Okay.
It's very, very limited. So oftentimes the network would have to cover the cost to bring the speakers from Trinidad.
Right.
We may have 1 or 2 from Tobago. Bring speakers to Trinidad. We provide refreshments, we provide water, we provide juice, and we provide a space, a safe space where persons can come and have all the necessary strategies to be able to assist their loved ones with Down syndrome.
Right. So where does the network see itself probably within the next 5 years? Where do you go from here?
Well, one of the things that I do know is that a lot would have happened. So in terms of awareness, in the earlies, persons didn't want to buy your socks. They didn't want to rock their socks.
Right.
I mean, everybody wants their socks now, right? Because it brings awareness, because they're now understanding why I rock my socks, because I'm supporting.
Yes.
I'm supporting someone with Down syndrome. I now know it's because it's a mismatch chromosome thingy, so we're going to rock our socks. We are going to support. So there are persons who are in workplaces where there's a child with Down syndrome, and the parent, everybody is rocking their socks on World Down Syndrome Day or the week following up. There are schools that I go to. So when I go, I have a nice game with the socks that I do and the students, and I give out handouts and tokens, so they have to listen as to how you can get Down syndrome. It's not something that you can catch, because people think you can catch it.
And that's another myth.
That's another myth. They think you can catch it. There are still parents who would not want their child to
play
be
with,
and to be in the same school or the same room as another person with Down syndrome, because they would take up the behaviors and they would start to do, different things.
Yes.
And I normally say to these parents, we take up behaviors from each other. We all take up behaviors, and oftentimes it's not the bad behaviors. There still would be positive.
Yes, of course.
You may have some negatives, but there will be some positives. And the thing is, because the child with Down syndrome mimics or pattern after you, they would want to pick up your child's behavior.
Yes, correct.
Right? So that is where the inclusive aspect comes in, and you must have them included and integrated in our setting so that we can all, work together and live together and give them that necessary opportunity to be a part of society.
Of course, I totally agree. Yes. Well, we're going to take another short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about family support, how important is family support, and of course some of the work that you would do with other stakeholders. So viewers, stay with us, we'll be right back.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor, or pool? Well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Storbay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic, and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus, a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Powerlink Graphic Enterprise, Storbay Local Road, Crown Point, Tobago, for a variety of quality printing products, including banners, posters, jerseys, flyers, and more. Graduation packages, get customized grad bags, mugs, newspapers, and the list goes on. Powerlink Graphic Enterprise, open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. Call 269-6996. We create ideas that inspire. Do you need electrical and plumbing supplies from construction to finish? Then check out Voodoo's Enterprises Limited, Milford Road, Canaan, Tobago. Get LED bulbs and fixtures, septic tanks, water pumps, laminate flooring, press cut power tools, and so much more. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. Call 280-2050 or 660-4970. Voodoo's Enterprises Limited.
Welcome back to Transforming Lives. We are talking Down syndrome and my guest, Leeanna Alexander. Well, Leeanna, let's talk about some of the collaborations with other stakeholders and what are some of the activities you would have annually?
Okay, so I'm going to touch a bit on the collaboration. So the Down Syndrome Family Network provides family with the tools that they need, and these tools would often come in the form of consultation.
Okay.
So we'd have persons who would consult with families regarding their challenging behaviors that students with Down syndrome or persons with Down syndrome may have, developmental delays and concerns, and we would say the professionals. So you have a baby, you are a mommy, and the thing is I want to say today is that the parent with a child with a disability often have between 6 to 9 roles daily, right? So apart from what you are, whether you're a teacher, you're a wife, you're a mommy, you would have additional roles. You become their therapist.
Yes.
You become their caregiver, right? There are times when you will become their advocates because you have to go in now and talk up for your child, right? You have to be the voice for your child. Sometimes you also have to find ways of helping them to maybe learn a new hobby, so you become their teacher as well, right? And there are many, many other things. So you would have the consultants who would come at our workshops and be able to give the information. Now, one of the things we always try to do is to encourage parents to come out. Yeah. Because the thing is, if you are providing a service or there are opportunities for you, because it's making your life easier.
But precisely, I was just about to say that.
And they would not be able to, because they would say, but I can't bring him. But we provide opportunities for you to bring them to the session, right? Understood. Come to the session, let's see what can happen, let's learn, because there are other mommies and other persons who can also, give advice, right? So we provide information. Information is important.
Yes.
A lot of persons would learn a lot from looking at this program, I'm telling you.
Of course.
Right? Because families with Down syndrome, we are not in isolation. We are not marginalized. We are not in a different bubble from everybody else. They have mommies and daddies. You have siblings who learn compassion. Yes. Siblings who learn to help, right? And they are not like stressed out, as persons would say. That's another myth, that if you have a sibling with a disability, it's so hard on you. These brothers and sisters, whether it's big or small, they are
Yes.
so compassionate and have so much empathy towards persons with disabilities. Right. Additionally, we also have families would have some assistance in locating services. So there are persons who would want to know, where can I have my child assessed?
Yes.
Where can I have quality and safe educational services for my child? Where can I have good therapy?
Right.
So all these things you would have information on, and also to work with family, with adolescents, to take them into the world of work, encouraging parents to, allow them to do something. So when you finish with school, and most of them may not be at school, and those who are at school, obviously you would finish one day. So what do
Correct.
you do?
What then?
Right, what then? Is it that the government is supposed to now find something for the child to do? You as a parent, you as I would say an advocate for your child, can send that child to learn a skill, because they learn skills.
Of
They can
course.
do music, they love gymnastics because they are very flexy.
Yes.
Right? They are very flexy. They can do things, right? They can be involved at church, they can be involved at school. So oftentimes you may have a church member, they may have a business or something, and they would take that child because the child has been included in
Of
the
course,
church,
yes.
included in the society. So all these support systems are in place via the network to help parents to better cope,
Right.
to better prepare the child to, reach their full potential.
Of course. So what I'm hearing is that there is a strong support system
Support.
as it relates with the family network. Yes. But is there a need for persons who can provide services to persons with Down syndrome, like, let's say, special ed teachers, speech and occupational therapists, physiotherapists, and the likes? Or do we have enough, or do we need more?
There's always a need. So I would say the field is saturated with general education teachers.
Yes.
Maybe nurses as well. But when it comes to persons, speech therapists, we can count how many we have.
Okay. So we need more.
We need more. Occupational therapists as well, behavioral therapists.
Yes.
We need, there's a need for these, and also special educators. Because yes, you have general education teachers, but when it comes to special ed and inclusion,
Yes.
I think it's maybe just about 4 or 5 of us on the island of Tobago, including myself. Yeah, and most of these teachers are already in student support services or at the special schools as principals. So there's not much to go around, right? And the thing is, because there's a need, there's also opportunity for the average citizen to look at that field.
Of course.
To look at that field, to get into assessment, right? We want persons to assess.
Yes.
Clinicians, educational psychologists. I think maybe we have 4 on the island, right?
Right.
So we need persons, and when you come to the sessions, you get to meet the few that we have.
Right.
That offer their services at no cost, and try to encourage other persons to get involved.
To get into that field.
Right. We also, let me just say, we also have board members. So approximately 10 board members, including myself. Most are in Trinidad. I'm here. Okay. And then we have Lisa Ghani, who is our honorary board member, but she is the person that would organize and coordinate these sessions. So the conference, getting sponsors, bringing in the speakers, ensuring that we have good events and appropriate events.
Yes.
She is the person.
And I know Lisa Ghani, she's a very meticulous.
Meticulous.
Hats off to you, Lisa.
Yes, so it's a lot. So behind the scenes, we have our volunteers, and let me stick up in there. We need volunteers.
Okay.
To sell the socks, to promote in the schools. We have the body walk, right? That's another event.
Yes.
The body walk is huge. That is in the month of October. So we have the body walk in October, which is the Down Syndrome month.
Yes. So the entire month.
Entire month of October we have activities, and now we have to I don't want to say. So Carnival in Tobago is in October.
Right.
So we have some competition there. So our body walk is either a little before or a little after
Okay.
Carnival.
Makes sense.
Right, but we get it in. And we have the 1K walk, where many steps are taken to advance inclusion.
Right.
Right, and to support persons with Down syndrome. And now we have the 5K run for
Yes,
persons
I was reading
who,
about that.
Yeah, they want to get so excited about running and stuff.
Yes.
And the good thing about it, I want to say this, for Tobago, we register and you are encouraged to purchase a t-shirt. In Trinidad, you register and you pay. You pay $100.
Okay.
And then you still have to buy a t-shirt.
Well, of course. It's
right?
a way of raising funds.
Right, but in Tobago, so I want persons to start to realize that, it's time for us to give back.
Yes.
Right, so come on out to the body walk, purchase a t-shirt, because everything would go back into the network to help us to better understand and to appreciate the work that the Down Syndrome Family Network is doing for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because it is Trinidad and Tobago.
Of course, definitely. Well, I want us to talk about the importance of, we touched on it slightly, about spreading that awareness about Down syndrome and general education. And what kind of policies do you think need to be implemented on the part of policymakers that would ensure persons with Down syndrome are adequately catered to?
One of the other areas that we need to have would be persons getting into the field of policy making. Just saying, it's an area of study that persons may not be aware of. So let me just say this. In Trinidad and Tobago, we do not have legislation for persons with disabilities. So we do not have laws.
Right.
So what we would have, or what we normally hold on to, would be legislations from like America and different countries. So yes, Trinidad and Tobago, we would have signed on to the Salamanca Statement. Yes, we would have ratified the Convention on the Rights for the Persons with Disability. Yes, there are many things that we would have signed on to and conventions, but for us as a people, we would have education acts, we would have draft policies, but we do not have what is necessary, that if your child with Down syndrome goes to the school and you could say, I do not have the resources, I do not have the trained teacher, so I cannot take your child, and that child would not be allowed to come to school. We do not have the laws to enforce, to say, yes, the student has to come. Right, we do not have that as yet. And I want to say as yet because the Down Syndrome Family Network would have been lobbying for the past 15 years to have these policies and these laws done. Right? Many negotiations, many talks would have happened behind the scenes, but it's still something in the making. So to answer your question, what are the plans within the next 5 years or so? We want to have legislation, because 2 of our board members, either 2 or 3, we have lawyers on the board. Right? So the board is made up of different persons. We have special educators, we have therapists, psychologists, we have lawyers. Everybody come together and we work to ensure that this is going to happen pretty soon. Right? And then again, healthcare too.
Of course.
Because I have students that I know, and their parents would have to be waiting for the grant because the work that they have is not enough to sustain them, because then most of these students are in a private school.
Yes, of course.
You have to pay the school fee.
That's a cost.
You have to buy this thing for them to eat their Pediasure, because they cannot eat most of them do not eat much meat and stuff. There are those who do, but most of them would like a softer diet.
Yes.
Those things are expensive.
Of course.
Very expensive, right? And then you have the medical aspect. So if they're on the thyroid medication, that is expensive. right? Some of them would have to go. We still go to Trinidad,
Yes.
to Mount Hope, for monthly checkups, for different things. Everything we still go to Trinidad. So there's a cost.
Yes.
And then if all you have is a grant, right? How are you going to pay the school
Yes,
fee? How are you
yes,
going
yes.
to buy the clothes? How are you going to do everything
Of course.
else?
So there's an extra burden, that financial burden.
For most parents with a child with a disability.
Yes, of course.
And then you have to pay the driver to drop them to school and to pick them up.
Yes, yes.
Some of these schools like Happy Haven and School for the Deaf and Tech Book, they are transport. But that would cover for maybe maybe 101 or 2 students. My last check, throughout Tobago, that is just a handful because we have so many more students, that we need to look into.
Yes. Well, Leeanna, as we begin to wrap up the program for today, let me give you an opportunity to highlight an area that we did not discuss, or maybe reiterate something that was said earlier that you want to resonate with our viewers.
Okay, so one of the things I want to say openly to my, I would say, fellow colleagues, fellow Tobagonians, my people, and even for other persons looking at, one of the things that we need to do firstly before we can do anything else, before we can go to the conferences, go to the body walk, rock our socks, or just, find out more about persons with Down syndrome, we need to change our mindsets and our attitudes towards persons with Down syndrome and other disabilities. Because, oftentimes we would make decisions not based on informed decision or what we know. We would just do it based on what we think we know.
True.
Or, stereotypes and all the different things. We just go with what we think. But to really get to know families with a child with a disability, to really get to know a student or an individual with Down syndrome, it takes a different level of thinking.
Yes.
To get to that place and say, hey, let me volunteer with the Down Syndrome Family Network. Let me volunteer with Autism Tobago, because Autism Month is coming up as well. Right? And my friend Ria, we support each other.
Yes.
We support each other. So I want to say the mindset needs to be changed. Attitude needs to be changed. Barriers. There are so many barriers that we need to break down.
Yes.
Move the barriers. It's not just a ramp or a rail or a wheelchair. It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
It's actually saying, so I could say to you, what? We could do more for the students. We could maybe have a parent workshop. Let's support the parents. Let's see what can be done. We could encourage them.
Yes.
We could do so much more. Even as I said, the business people could start to say, hey, let's come together and let each one of us hire somebody with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
So it takes the burden off the family.
Of
that
course.
Person can work. They can feel valued. They can feel like they are contributing to society.
Of course. And a part of society.
And they like nice things. They like to dress up and things.
Just like all of
us. So that is one of the things that I would want to encourage the people of Tobago to do. Let's look at persons with disabilities with a different lens.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's look with our hearts, not just with our eyes.
Right.
Let's see the need. Let's not just what they want. So they want to go to school, but there's a need for them to be in school. There's a need for us to accept them. There's a need for us to say, hey, I'm having a birthday party. Let me invite the neighbor's child with Down syndrome.
Right.
Let me invite the neighbor's child with autism. Let me include them, because remember, it starts at home,
Of course, yes.
It starts in our community.
Yes,
it starts in our village. So when you going to, do that?
Yes.
And let me just stick a pin here. We do have schools. We have one school that has, I think, 2. But one for sure, Delaford Anglican. We have a student there with Down syndrome, and he would have gone to the Speyside Early Childhood Center. And they are in all our programs. The conference, the Rock Your Socks, they are in the Body Walk.
Yes.
They have the biggest posse from the country coming down.
So they get the vision.
they have it. So it could be done.
Yes.
It could be done, and it has been done. Little Jewels as well, they have students with Down syndrome, autism, and other disabilities.
Right.
So when we have, as I said, persons with a different mindset and a different view to
Yes.
say, hey, I am going to include a child with Down syndrome in my school, in my church, in my workplace, that is when we are talking inclusion and advancing inclusion.
Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
well said, Leeanna. Let me give you the opportunity to probably give us a phone contact where persons could get in touch with you, or maybe someone is looking at the program today and they said, you know what, I would like to be a volunteer, or a church member is looking today and they want to be a part. Just give us whether phone contact, email address.
So my number is no longer private for the past 14 years. 293-6544. And that is if somebody wants to contact me concerning anything. However, as I said, we have the Down Syndrome Family Network. They are on Facebook.
Okay.
They are on Instagram. Once you type in Down Syndrome Family Network,
Yes.
all the information pops up. There's a lot that you can get from just, following them, seeing the work that they are doing,
Yes.
and also to support us.
Of course.
Right, when we have the conferences, we want the schools to come out. And yes, we had some schools. When we are doing the body walk, we want persons to come out, and not just school children.
Right. Adults
We
as well.
want adults, the Division of Education, health and wellness. Come out with your posse, come out with your gym. Walk for inclusion. When we
Yes.
are rocking our socks, everybody rocking their
Of
socks.
course.
Right? When we are doing the workshops, we want persons to come out, get that information, Persons can come out. Sometimes we have TTT and Tobago updates coming to cover some of the programs.
Yes.
So that is the type of support we want. And we want sponsors.
Of course. So all hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
All
for
hands on deck.
Tobago, and including for inclusion and advancing inclusion in Tobago.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, viewers, I want to take the opportunity to thank my guests. I tell you, capable guest, Leeanna Alexander, and she spoke extensively about some of the myths and misconceptions. And I tell you, there were a lot of myths and misconceptions about Down syndrome. But I think after this program, we have a much clearer understanding. We have a better understanding. Of course, at some other time, we're going to call her in and possibly do a part 2. All right, so for viewers, this is how we wrap things up for today. I'm your host, Deanne. Always happy to be in your company, always happy to be in your space. Remember, the program is aired every Saturday afternoon at 5:30. Just in case you missed it, you can go back on YouTube, on Facebook, and you will see the replay. All right, as has become customary, I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time. As usual, I leave you with beautiful sceneries of the gem we call Tobago.